What if everything you perceive as fixed is actually fluid, shaped by the invisible rhythm of your inner state? We grow up taught to believe in a world that exists out there, separate from our internal world. We're conditioned to think that reality is something we must conquer, manage, or manipulate. You work harder, say the right things, chase the right opportunities, and perhaps life will reward you. But here's the paradigm shift. What if the world isn't reflecting your actions, but your essence? Not what you do, but what you are. Beneath the appearances of a seemingly rigid and external reality lies a quantum mirror. Always listening, always reflecting. Not your desires, not your plans, but the frequency you emit from the core of your being. Think about that for a moment. When you walk into a room and feel someone's energy before they speak, that's not imagination. It's resonance. Every thought you've ever repeated, every belief you hold, every emotion you embody, that's your vibration. And vibration is the organizing principle of matter. In the quantum view, particles do not exist in fixed positions until observed. Reality is not a static picture. It's a streaming projection of your consciousness, molded moment to moment by the vibrational signal you're broadcasting. That's why two people can live in the same city, go to the same school, work the same job, and experience completely different lives. One walks in alignment with worthiness, joy, and clarity. The other walks under the shadow of fear, lack, and unworthiness. The outer details may appear similar, but the inner signal dictates the pattern of what unfolds. One receives invitations, serendipities, support. The other sees resistance, rejection, repetition of pain. You're not broken, and there's nothing wrong with wanting more. But the question is, are you chasing reality or creating it? Where in your life are you still trying to control the outer instead of tuning the inner? When we think reality is something to go get, we begin striving, grinding, comparing. But the quantum mirror doesn't respond to frantic action. It responds to internal coherence. The outer world is not lagging behind your goals. It's mirroring your current broadcast. And if that signal is fear wrapped in ambition, your reality will reflect back more lessons, not manifestations. The truth is both confronting and liberating. Nothing is happening to you arbitrarily. The job you lost, the relationship that ghosted, the door that wouldn't open, it may not have been punishment. It may have been feedback. It was never about worthiness in the eyes of the world, but about alignment with the frequency of what you want. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and asking it to smile before you do. Impossible, right? The reflection only follows the lead. But many of us are emotionally doing just that. We demand love before we give it, abundance before we feel grateful, confidence before we embody it, and we wonder why we're stuck. You may have repeated mantras, you may have done the vision boards, but if deep inside your vibration still says, "I'm not enough," that signal overrides every affirmation. The quantum field isn't responding to your words. It's responding to your being. What if you stopped asking the mirror to change and instead asked, "Who am I being while I wait?" In that shift, your entire experience begins to rearrange. Because the mirror is not the master. It is only ever a messenger. Your energy speaks before you do. Resonance is how reality listens and mirrors back your truest frequency. Before a single word escapes your mouth, before a single choice is made, your being is already speaking. You are always sending signals through your thoughts, your emotions, your assumptions about what's possible. And the universe? It doesn't listen in sentences. It listens in vibration. Everything in existence is energy, moving at different frequencies. Your body, your thoughts, your memories, they're all vibrational. And the most essential truth of quantum philosophy is this: like attracts like. Not in the superficial sense of attraction, but in the deep architecture of resonance. What you hold within you, you magnetize without. The field responds to what you are, not what you pretend to be. Have you ever noticed how someone can say all the right things, but something feels off? That's because your nervous system isn't listening to words, it's scanning for congruence. If what they say and what they radiate don't align, your body knows. And the quantum field is no different. It doesn't reward the mask, it responds to the truth beneath it. This is why you can't fake energy. You can smile and say you're grateful, but if beneath that smile is resentment, scarcity, or doubt, your frequency is still what you actually feel. The law of resonance is impartial. It does not judge or punish. It merely reflects. Your vibration is your request form to the universe. So how does this apply to your life? Why do certain patterns keep repeating? Why do some people always seem to attract kindness, luck, or love, and others cycle through the same hardships? It's not just circumstance, it's energetic autopilot. Most of us live our lives unconsciously rehearsing the same internal playlist. I'm not lovable. I'll never get ahead. People always leave. Life is a struggle. We don't say these things out loud, but we feel them. And every feeling sends out a frequency that shapes the fabric of what we call reality. Not because we're cursed, but because we haven't learned how to tune our inner radio. You wouldn't expect to hear jazz on a heavy metal station. You wouldn't expect warmth from a frozen heart. Yet many of us wish for a peaceful life while carrying the vibration of chaos. We want abundance, but carry the frequency of fear. And the mirror simply reflects that state, not to punish us, but to bring it to our attention. It's not enough to want better. Wanting implies lack, and the universe echoes what you are, not what you lack. So the key is not to obsessively manifest from a place of need, but to shift into the state where what you desire is a natural match for who you are. Consider the people you admire, those who seem magnetic, grounded, unshakably present. What you're feeling is not their talent or their looks. You're feeling their coherence. They are aligned within themselves. Their thoughts match their feelings, their beliefs match their actions. And in that alignment, they emit a frequency that reality recognizes and reflects back in kind. Where in your own life are you out of sync? Are you saying yes while feeling no? Are you showing up with a brave face while crumbling inside? Are you pretending to be confident while carrying an inner loop of shame? These misalignments are not signs of failure. They are invitations. Invitations to pause and realign, to stop forcing outcomes and begin curating your vibration. Because you don't manifest what you chase. You manifest what you resonate with. The good news? You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be honest. The moment you stop fighting your current frequency and start listening to it, you begin the process of transformation. And that honesty, that willingness to feel what's real, is the most powerful energetic shift of all. The silent architecture of your assumptions forms the scaffolding of what shows up in your life, whether you're aware of it or not. Belief is not just a thought you repeat. It's the invisible scaffolding holding up the entire structure of your reality. It's the lens through which you interpret every event, the filter that colors every interaction, the blueprint that tells the quantum mirror what to reflect. What you assume to be true, consistently and emotionally, becomes the mold that your life quietly conforms to. Most people don't realize that belief is not chosen once, it's chosen constantly. Not with words, but with your emotional reactions, your default responses, your internal monologue. That quiet voice saying, "This always happens to me," or "They won't choose me," or "I can't trust anyone." These aren't harmless thoughts. They are blueprints being drawn again and again, broadcasted into the quantum field, inviting in experiences that match them with eerie precision. This is not mysticism, it's pattern recognition. Look back at your life. How many times have you replayed the same emotional movie, just with different characters or circumstances? The relationships that end the same way, the job dynamics that feel familiar, the financial loops that seem to reset. It's not just chance, It's energetic consistency. Your subconscious beliefs are like a GPS set to a destination you forgot you programmed. You may consciously want love, success, or peace. But if the subconscious is calibrated to fear, rejection, or chaos, your internal navigation system will steer you in that direction every single time. Not because you're doomed, but because that's what your energetic instructions are telling the universe to construct. This is why so many people feel like they're trapped in a reality that doesn't match their potential. Because they are. They're trapped in a feedback loop, projecting the same signal, receiving the same mirror image, and using that image as proof that they're stuck. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. But here's the truth that breaks the cycle. Beliefs are not fixed. They are learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. Your current blueprint is not destiny, it's a reflection of repetition, and you have the power to rewire it. But the first step is radical honesty. Ask yourself, what do I truly believe is possible for me? Not what do I wish for, but what do I expect? When you imagine success, do you also feel dread? When you think about love, do you secretly fear abandonment? When opportunity comes, do you prepare for failure more than you prepare to receive? These are not flaws. These are signals. And the more compassionately you listen to them, the more power you gain to shift them. Because your beliefs don't need punishment, they need presence. Only when you meet your old assumptions with awareness can you begin to reprogram them from the inside out. It's not about pretending to believe. That's spiritual bypassing. It's about identifying the outdated scripts you've inherited from childhood, trauma, culture, and repetition, and choosing with love to upgrade them. Not to erase your past, but to stop letting it dictate your future. The moment you begin aligning your internal blueprint with a new vibration, a belief in worthiness, in peace, in the inevitability of joy, reality starts to rearrange. It doesn't happen overnight, but the mirror always adjusts because it has no agenda of its own. It only reflects what you expect it to. So what are you expecting? Who told you what was realistic? Whose voice are you still carrying in your head, telling you to settle, to shrink, to earn love instead of receiving it? You are the architect, and beliefs are the bricks. It's time to stop building your life on foundations laid by fear. It's time to draw a new blueprint, not just with your words, but with your entire emotional body. Because the quantum mirror is not reflecting what you want. It's reflecting what you believe is yours. True transformation doesn't start with action. It starts with becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to chase what they now attract. We've been taught that change requires effort, hustle, strategy. Wake up earlier, work harder, force outcomes into existence. And while discipline has its place, there's a deeper, quieter revolution happening beneath the surface. One that begins not with doing, but with being. When you align your vibration with the reality you desire, you don't need to chase it, you attract it by resonance. This isn't magic, it's coherence. Think of a tuning fork. When one is struck, another nearby vibrates in harmony without being touched. That's what you are to the quantum field, a vibrational instrument. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you're tuned for. This is why transformation is an identity shift. Not what should I do, but who am I being? Most people try to upgrade their results while keeping their identity the same. But you can't outwork the energy of who you still believe you are. The unworthy version of you can't create a life of peace. The fearful version of you can't hold abundance. You have to become the version of you who naturally lives in that reality before it ever arrives. Here's the paradox. You don't become her after you get the dream. You become her first, and then the dream aligns to meet her. If you want to live in a reality where love, prosperity, and purpose flow, step into the frequency of the person who already knows it's safe to receive those things. Not someday. Now. That doesn't mean faking confidence. It means calibrating your nervous system to a new baseline. Becoming familiar with safety, with ease, with enoughness. Because your body is always eavesdropping on your beliefs. And if your body feels unworthy, even your best intentions will short-circuit. You may get the relationship, but you'll sabotage it. You may land the opportunity, but you'll freeze when it's time to own it. Rewiring your identity isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about choosing, moment by moment, to respond from the new frequency rather than the old one. It's as simple and as profound as asking, what would the peaceful me do right now? Or, how would the abundant me see this situation? Over time, that repetition becomes embodiment. And embodiment becomes your new default. Let me tell you something powerful. The moment you stop needing something in order to feel whole, you become magnetic to it. Not because you've stopped desiring, but because you've removed the frequency of lack. You've exited the energy of chasing and stepped into the energy of attracting. And in that space, miracles happen, not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you finally stopped resisting what was trying to find you all along. So what would it look like to start practicing your desired frequency today? Not waiting for evidence, not waiting for others to validate it, but simply deciding, this is who I am now. Would you breathe differently? Would you walk with more grace? Would you speak with more calm? Would you say no to what you used to tolerate? Would you show up for yourself like someone whose dreams already trust them? This isn't about arrogance. It's about congruence. You're not faking anything. You're remembering. You're removing the distortions that said you had to earn love, suffer for success, or be someone else to be enough. You are enough now. Not because a mirror told you, but because you've decided to reflect something new. And the mirror, as it always does, will follow. So start here. Start small. With your morning breath, with the way you speak to yourself in silence, with the courage to feel worthy before any evidence demands it. You are not here to chase. You are here to become. And becoming is the most powerful frequency of all. Reality does not reward effort alone. It responds to congruence. What you radiate when no one's watching becomes the world you live in. You've probably been told that success is about how hard you work when no one's looking. But in the quantum field, it's more subtle than that. It's not just about silent effort, it's about silent alignment. The quiet thoughts you nurture, the invisible stories you tell yourself when the world goes still. That's what writes the next chapter of your life. You could be the most diligent person alive, hustling, sacrificing, waking up at 5 a.m. But if beneath all that effort is the vibration of I'm not enough unless I achieve, then your reality will mirror not your dedication, but your doubt. The mirror doesn't care how noble your reasons are. It doesn't reward self-sacrifice rooted in self-rejection. It simply reflects the signal. This is why you've seen people who don't work as hard somehow attract opportunities, wealth, love, peace, while others exhaust themselves and still feel stuck. It's not unfair, it's energetic clarity. Those people have embodied their worth so completely that life responds effortlessly. They're not trying to be aligned. They are aligned. Their outer results are merely reflections of that deep congruence. So let's get honest. What energy are you bringing into your quiet moments? When no one's watching, when the pressure's off, who are you being then? Because that is the truest measure of your signal. Most of us were taught to perform, to smile through pain, to hustle through burnout, to fake it until we make it. But what if the universe doesn't need your performance? It needs your presence. What if the most powerful thing you could offer isn't your resume, your productivity, your charm, but your inner congruence? Congruence is when what you feel, believe, and do all say the same thing. It's when your inner world and outer behavior are in harmony. That's when the mirror lights up. Not because you've earned it, but because you've matched it. The universe is not a vending machine, it's a reflection pool. You don't insert coins of effort and push buttons of desire to get results. You stand before it fully whole, and see the world change to match your new embodiment. But here's the nuance. This isn't about never feeling fear, never having doubt. You're human. You will falter. The quantum field isn't looking for perfection. It's listening for frequency. It's asking, are you being honest with yourself? Are you anchored in who you've chosen to become, even when the old story comes knocking? Your evolution is measured not by how well you avoid setbacks, but by how quickly you return to your center. How lovingly you remind yourself, I no longer live in that vibration. And from there, you choose again. That's the mastery. Not control, but choice. Not suppression, but self-awareness. Not forcing outcomes, but adjusting your signal and letting reality align in its own timing. Ask yourself, in what areas of your life am I still performing instead of embodying? Where am I trying to prove instead of simply being? What would shift if I trusted that the mirror is not the enemy, but the messenger? You're not here to manipulate reflections. You're here to become the kind of person whose reflection takes care of itself. That's real power, not loud, not frantic, not desperate. Just still, certain, and alive. Because the truth is your vibration doesn't lie, and the world around you, it's just telling the truth of your inner state, always, with perfect fidelity. So the next time something feels off, don't fight the mirror. Feel into your own presence. Recalibrate not your circumstances, but your signal. And trust that when the frequency shifts, the form will follow. The quantum mirror has no bias, no timeline, no judgment. It simply waits for you to remember that the most potent way to create change is to become the change. And from that place, nothing is out of reach, because everything you seek is already seeking the version of you that no longer has to try so hard. Be that, and watch the world catch up. If you've made it this far, take a breath, not just for reading, but for remembering. This journey has never been about learning something entirely new. It's been about peeling away the noise to hear what your soul has always whispered. You are the signal. You are the source. The world is not happening to you, it's happening through you. In every moment, with every breath, you're shaping the mirror. Not by force, but by frequency. Not by proving, but by being. And that's the invitation now, not to chase a future, but to embody a presence. To live each day as though the life you dream of is already real inside you, because it is. So ask yourself, gently and honestly, what reflection do I want to meet tomorrow? And what must I become today for that reflection to appear without resistance? If this spoke to something deep in you, share it. Let others find their reflection too. And remember, the quantum mirror never lies. It simply waits. See yourself clearly. Love yourself fully, and reality will follow.